toxic self. The bell of our ancestors where it's felt. Passing through the gates where we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to heal all the toxic self. When the bell of our ancestors where it's felt. Passing through the gates where we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear all that toxic self. Ring the bell of our ancestors where it's felt. Passing through the gates where we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear all that toxic self. Ring the bell of our ancestors where it's felt. Sorry, I was muted on that. To Zaid, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. First of all, my boyka, warhab, bienvenido and welcome. And to my brother Zaid, GMZ, Zaid, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. And I don't pray. I know I command the multiverse that everything is going to be good. I command the universe. Everything has to be good. Everything's starting from me, because if I'm good, if my family's all right, my group is all right, my nation is all right, the planet is all right, humanity is all right, the solar system is all right. You know what I'm saying? And it on the line, it's nothing but rightness. Sound right, rightness, correctness. You know what I'm saying? And it comes from you. Your inner world is your outer world. So I know everything is going to be good. You know what I'm saying? I go through a few things here, as far as health is concerned, my health, my family, it's work that has to be done in all fronts. Thank you. It's work that has to be done on all fronts, y'all. That's the way it is, you know? And so I want to start off today. I should share this screen by giving you a little current events, what's happening in the island of Borinquen. You know what I'm saying? I figure I'd do that today. You know what I'm saying? And let's share this. Okay, first of all, here you go. Oh, we're already doing that. See, sweetheart. In Puerto Rico, this is from the American, from the Associated Press. And so there's a protest that's going in Puerto Rico amid the demands for higher wages, man, in Southern Puerto Rico. Shrill whistles mixed with drums, tambourines, and the clacking of spoons on pot as public employee shut down streets in Puerto Rico, capital Friday, to demand better pay and pension. I don't know. You're asking these people to give you better pay to become part of their system. Well, you know what? Create your own system. We need to create our own money, our own system, our own worth. You know what I'm saying? And what's so disturbing about it, because of the Jones Act, what's so disturbing is about it is that there, I don't know of any committee in Puerto Rico that's able to extend out to the African Union. That's what I hope I'm coming in. That's how I know where I'm gonna come. Because it's only the right for us to contribute to humanity again and to connect with other civilized nations out there, queendoms and chiefhood and everything, and work together. What can we bring them and what can they bring us? You know what I'm saying? That's Taino. That's the Taino culture. We cannot forget that. Excuse me. So yeah, so there's a protest that happened Friday and it's going on. This one is not as big as when they got the governor out of there, Rossello guy, when they got it. So this is not as big as that. Pero this is interesting. I got to look more into this. You know what I'm saying? For all my Boricua brothers and sisters, Caribbean, and for humanity, because an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. Everywhere. Martin Luther King said that. So this is an injustice. We gotta look into it. Joe Johnson set a play for U.S. in the World Cup qualifier. Who's Joe Johnson? I don't know. So USA basketball call again. A year removed from his last playing experience, this is basketball, I believe. With national team, the 40-year-old Johnson was among 12 players, excuse me, announced Tuesday as the roster for a pair of basketball World Cup qualifying games later this month. Excuse me. They hold a lot of games. They hold a lot of games in Puerto Rico, a lot of pre-Olympic games, and a lot of the basketball players go there to Puerto Rico to play. You know what I'm saying? To keep their skills up. They go to Puerto Rico to play. You see that a lot. And baseball play baseball a lot. They go there. Okay? So that's interesting. Olympic skier overcome illness to compete for Puerto Rico. So, competing for Puerto Rico, an Olympic skier. Okay. For a teenager whose chances of survival were slim when he was born, just making it to the starting line at the Olympic is a miraculous achievement in itself. You can achieve anything you want to achieve, man. You put your mind to it. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. You know what I'm saying? His survivals were slim when he was born. You know, Flaherty. William Flaherty will ski for Puerto Rico on Sunday in a giant slalom of the Benji Games. Okay, and he's got a name like Flattery, an Irish name. Remember, a lot of if you have maternal, just a maternal coming from the island, then I think in the Olympics you qualify to represent somehow. Or if you was even born on the island, you know what I'm saying? So you got that citizenship. You have dual citizenship. That's it. See, Puerto Rico has full faith and credit, right? Even though it's not a state, but it's recognized. It functions like a state. But even though it's not one of the states that's chartered in the United States of America, but it's an associated state. An associated state is that it operates like a state. It can, we can't vote for the president, but we can vote, we have our immediate parliament and government, and it's representative in Congress. We can have a voice. We can have a voice in there because there are congressmen and House of Representatives that are Puerto Rican, and you can appeal to them because they're going to always have in their interest in their heart in the island of Borinquen. So that's what Puerto Rico has. It has some delegates, ambassadors to the United Nations Congress and the House of Representatives. But even though it cannot vote for president, and vote on some laws, however, it can what they call that lobby. A lot of lobbying going on. And so Puerto Rico also has a citizenship. So you have dual. When you're born on the island, you will immediately have dual citizenship. If you're born over here of Puerto Rican ancestry, excuse me. Give me 1 second, yo. 1 minuto. I will have to call him back. Oh yeah, Zay, that's interesting. It's about time, and you said Puerto Rico at one time had our own money. Wow. Yeah, well, in the Spanish, yeah, we had 1 year of independency, believe it or not, independent for 1 year until the United States took over. Yeah, and we had our own money. Okay. We protest but won't fight to get drugs out of our island. Pure facts, and that's true. That's true. That's why that's going to segue to something, Zay. Trust me, it's going to segue into something that's very, very important. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm gonna address all that. But right now we see that, you know, and we go on. So U.S. seeks 287 Puerto Rican police officers owed back wages. So the U.S. is going to pay these police officers. So if you was once a police officer in the island of Borinquen, you owe back wages because they weren't getting paid. That's how I understand some of these guys. You know what I'm saying? And of course they're going to have to pay them because they're going to want to go back to the islands, put order in things. They need that force. They need that force. A lot of Puerto Rican police officers left the island. They left the island. You know what I'm saying? So the U.S. government is trying to track down 287 Puerto Rico police officers so it can pay them back wages as ordered by federal court. I can imagine a police officer. I don't know. It could be a trap. That's the skeptic mind. You see, that's the skeptic mind. We're going to talk about. Hold on one second. Read up in here. Wow, your good friend is a police officer in Ponce. Look, if he's owed back taxes, he's gonna get them. So in 2016, the ruling ordered Puerto Rico's police department to pay 8.7 million in back wages and interest to more than 2,600 current and former officers, according to the statement issued Thursday. Wow, since 2016. Since 2016. Puerto Rico firefighters secure wages increase after protest. So they went out there, they protested, and they got an increase. I'm saying that's to be expected. So Puerto Rico governor Thursday announced a $500 monthly salary increase, $500 increase for firefighters a day after they joined thousands of public employees in a protest to demand higher wages and improved pension. And this was in February the 9th. I'm going back a little bit, and I'm just going to stay on the 9th. But the disgruntled public employees resumed protests in Puerto Rico, and you see that happen. So public employees blew whistles and banged them pots, and they've been doing this for a while at the governor mansion to protest at the mansion, and it's the second less than a week, fueled in part by anger over government. A lot of, and this is what I'm going to segue, because today's discussion, give me one second. Today's discussion, and they deserve it, Zay. That's right. Yeah. Today's discussion that I tell you twice a week I'm involved in a summit, a Zoom. It's a summit of the African Union, the Parliament, the Queendom of Imperial Majesty Kwasambura, that line of Sheba or that line of Saba or that line of Nubian Kush. You know what I'm saying? And so we get on, and so today some of the crown ministers and ambassadors from the Parliament that helps with the United Nations initiatives and stuff like that, World Peace Initiative. A lot of these ambassadors came on today and was speaking about the future of the African states, what I'm saying, in Africa, and also the African diaspora, you know what I'm saying. But right now they're working within Africa. They're speaking, so they're starting in Africa, you know what I'm saying, and looking into the fourth industrial revolution. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is about the fourth industrial revolution is another revolution that, if handled the right way, the Internet of Things, the AI, the electronics, the high electronics, the energy efficient initiatives, the you know what I'm saying, the electric instead of the fossil burning fuel initiative. All of that concern should be part of the African Union. So that's heading them into the fourth industrial revolution. So you had ambassadors, crown ambassadors that are architecture engineers, and they're trying to figure out what is the best way to put this plan forward for the future in these African states, as to introduce them to this high technology. You know what I'm saying? And you have to merge the two. A lot of the natural nature and the oral tradition, the natural nature has to be definitely, that's the core of it. That's the foundation. But then you stack, for instance, the in fourth industrial revolution. You stack that on up upon it. Like for instance, agriculture was done a certain way on the island. I mean, on the island, yeah, on the islands, you could say that, and also on the continent. Farmers had a certain way of doing things in agriculture for centuries. A lot of it was passed down orally, right? Through farmers, through agriculture, right? And those communities that are farm community and agricultural communities. And so they had a way of doing things. That was replaced, again, not to be discredited, not to be so disgruntled or discredited, but it is what it is, and truth is truth. That when we read, for instance, religion teaches about tilling the ground, because it talks about Adam, they teach you, they get you all settled with Adam, the story of Adam, kicked out of God, now he must till the ground. So they use that as their talking point, till the ground. But now, our ancestors, when you look at agriculture and you go back into Africa, they did not till the ground. It was a totally, because those equipment that tilled the ground weren't available. So what they did was they knew through natural nature to work with the microbiomes and the cattle and the feeders of the cattle, fertilizing, collected fertilizer from other places. It was a system that was practiced around the Nile Valley, right? And around the Nile. When it overflowed, according to the season, it overflowed, you know what I'm saying? And so this was a totally different science. This is what they found out, that because when religion came over and the whole tilling of the ground and this machinery came over, what happened? They started to till the ground and destroy the soil. That's why I said, check out Kiss the Ground, the documentary on Netflix. Okay, because there are agriculturists, agriculturists, scientists, botany scientists that are trying to correct that. It's like trying to re-educate farmers, even if they come from a religious, because they always pull out the Bible, but it's God said to till the ground, so we must continue tilling the ground. No, no. And we need to really, I'm going to do that next Sunday, probably going to go into that, you know what I'm saying, and look at those words to see if that's what it really means. But this whole idea of tilling the ground and then creating machinery to till the ground destroy the soil. So now you have to re-educate the people and say, look, you got to go back to your ancient way. Or now that's part of educating people through the internet, through AI, educating them and telling them that, hey, you got to go back to your ancestry. You know what I'm saying? You got to go back and create different, environments that are conducive to protect these seeds. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with the island of Borinquen. The island of Borinquen has been at first was an agricultural culture, an agricultural culture. Again, the same problem. And a lot of these islands, Cuba, but then when religion came in and the interpretation, right, came in, this whole narrative, this talking point of tilling the ground, till the ground, till the ground. But then later on in years, we find out, we see the depreciation of soil, and we're saying, well, wait a minute. Let's look at the method that's being used. These are what botanists says, and scientists. Look at the method that says it's wrong to till the ground. You're destroying your soil. Because the soil, through forensic science, found out it has microbiomes, it has certain bacteria in it that's needed, and viruses that's needed in there. You know what I'm saying? And when that happens, and the release of this carbon, this oxygen, and the release of carbon, right, from ecological will, and the release of that create more rain. You know what I'm saying? More rain. That's in the rainforest. It's a rainforest. It rains a lot because it has a lot of forestry that creates a microbiome and on the earth, the soil, and releases this carbon, to create rain, water, oxygen, H2O, oxygen, and to create water. You know what I'm saying? So this is, what they were discussing today, about discussing also the technology of these cities. For instance, transportation, how you can get to one area to area real quicker and stuff like that. And that's all cool and everything, you know what I'm saying? But I like the idea of building before we can build our buildings, our communities, very green friendly, green friendly. You know what I'm saying? Create these, instead of creating these boxes, if you create them slanted or oval, you're able to put soil in there, and you're able to plant, grow microbiomes in there. Plant, it'll cool down the system. It'll even keep it warm. You know what I'm saying? It, you know, it's greenery. You can even plant on top of it. You know what I'm saying? So this is what it's talking about that we were speaking today about. And so I say this though, in order to put initiative like this in place, even in the island of Borinque and wherever, in order to put this in place, you have to start from one step. Make sure that it's not steep, that you're not jumping up into discussing about humanity and the planet and saving it. I say you have to save the mentality of the people first. You got to get them to think. You have to raise their values, their qualities, and the principle has to be risen and taught to the children. So whatever they do in life, it is eco-friendly. You know what I'm saying? It's eco-friendly. And when that happens, that creates a group, creates a community, creates a nation, and on and on and on. You know? Very important. And for my Sabian brothers and sisters, that's like in the Ansar day. When you walked into that neighborhood, you see more green. You know? When you look at Panabaya Nous on the side, he had a garden in top of his roof. And next to his roof, he had a garden. A garden, he grew certain things up there in that garden. Herbs and small vegetables in that garden. You know what I'm saying? Very, very important for us to again, that's having that affinity, and that's having that caring, that love for certain dynamics. And that's the dynamics of living, of your environment and your living. So we have to raise, it has to start from the inner self. And we have to raise these qualities, these values and these principles, to raise them to a point where we have this ethereal knowledge, this natural nature knowledge. We're able to just genetic knowledge, that we're able to connect with that part of what they call growth, nature, growth of living, become a living being. We're mental dead. How do we know we're mental dead? Because we're destroying everything around us. That's a death culture. We're destroying everything around us. You know what I'm saying? So that was an important discussion today. And I didn't interject that, but that's the discussion I wanted to have here, is that, yeah, these initiatives are fine. You know what I'm saying? If you could find some type of organization out there that for instance, plastic bag, if you go to the store, if they don't have paper bags and they're using plastic bag, bring them home, put them away, you reuse them again. And tell them, no, I got my own plastic bags, or I got my own bag, because what that does, it drops the demand for them to order plastic bags from these companies that makes plastic, that are not thinking about the environment. It's harming the environment. So if you got to use plastic, use it reusable plastic, not plastic that's going to be discarded, thrown away, and is going to get into the oceans. And next you know, the fishes are dying. The oceans are dying, you know what I'm saying, are getting polluted. So just simple thing as that can be a catalyst, can set it off. Sorry. Something simple as that can set it off, yo. Something simple as that can set it off. You know what I'm saying? Eat less meat. But the less meat you eat, the more animals are are surviving, and the more animal feces gets into the ground, so the more microbiomes get in there, and so the more the soil becomes enriched. And when the soil becomes enriched and releases that oxygen into the air, you get rain, mixes in. You know what I'm saying? Or the carbon dioxide. Because you see, around us, during the day, I think trees releases oxygen. But during the night, it takes in the oxygen and releases the carbon dioxide at night. And that carbon dioxide goes into the air. You know what I'm saying? So they have a thing of lowering the carbon dioxide of the planet. But they have a thing that if they lower the carbon dioxide, if they lower services for one, and then they lower population, and then they jack-a-whack you and this and that, they lower the population, then they lower the carbon dioxide on the planet. But here's the thing, we need carbon dioxide on the planet. Natural carbon dioxide that's going to go into the atmosphere as to create rain. Why they don't want that? Because they want to create their cities, take away the fortune. You see that antisociable personality is at work here, harming and destroying the planet. You know what I'm saying? So the little things that we can do, right, in our household, around us. I have all my lights off and got all the windows up so I get light from that. So I use less electricity, which comes from fossil energy. You know what I'm saying? My bills go down. And the less you do in terms of creating that demand, right, the better off the planet is. Because until we restructure the energy source, so this is what the African Union is bringing in. This is the fourth industrial revolution. Have to restructure the energy source. Now move into solar technology or etheric technology. Ether, electromagnetic forces technology, using that from the sun, which is solar technology. So it's a very important conversation. You know what I'm saying? Important, again, raising the values. Wu Sabat should raise your value. Wu Sabat will raise your value and your principles and your qualities by knowing your language, by knowing your culture, you know what I'm saying? By knowing your genetics, your culture, and I'm sorry, this is falling. By knowing that, you are changing your tones, your vibrations and your tones, and you changing, you enhancing your character personality, which is your spirit. You know what I'm saying? The less you take in of spiritual detritus or spiritual debris, what they call detritus, debris, spiritual caca, in Spanish, the less you take of that, the better off is the environment. The better off is the environment. You know what I'm saying? True. The better off is your immediate environment, your group, your community. Now, I'm not against alcohol totally because I think it has its place. Just remember, alcohol from alcohol is goals are spirits, spiritual detritus. If you take it a lot and become drunk, it alters your spirit because you're taking in these spirits and they walk into you, and next thing you know, it's taking over your body, your character and your personality changes. That's spiritual detritus. That is used for certain magic in Africa. That's used, the fermenting of these plants or the fermenting of fruit to create this concoction, spiritual debris, is used for certain practices. You know what I'm saying? When they're communicating at that lower level and trying to raise that vibe. That's a whole different school. Another thing is pork. Pork has a high amount of spiritual detritus. I don't know why. No one told. But when you study this and you go to Cassology or you study this, for some reason, pork changes your character and personality. The people that eat a lot of pork changes the character. Because remember, that animal eats, and it doesn't matter what you feed it. By nature, it eats anything. Garbage. You could feed a concoction, the thing is gonna eat it. It's gonna be in the garbage. You know what I'm saying? Eating. And certain animals. That when you eat those certain animals like that, it's spiritual dietary, spiritual caca. They eat what this waste product. In certain ancient time, it was needed. The pale pork was needed to enter to certain areas where there was a lot of carcass, dead bodies and dead skins, whatever, and they ate it up and they cleaned up the area in order for other groups to get in there. That's history. You know what I'm saying? But that's the function of the what they call the khansir, or the pork. A lot of spiritual digest. And then I'll mention another one, nicotine. Nicotine. Nicotine is a lot of spiritual digest in that too. So you have to balance your nicotine. Your cigarettes, nicotine. Cigars. Some don't have as much as nicotine, but cigars is used for ceremonies also. You have to be careful because remember, in certain African spirituality and magic, when they lost their connection with Nous, they lost their connection with the Nile Valley, they settled in for the rituals and started to obtain certain rites that dealt with death culture. In other words, they didn't see their ancestors alive anymore. They saw them dead. And so they amplified more of the dead culture, dealing with bones and skulls and dealing with pig and what they call palo and alcohol and cigar, palo mayombe. You know what I'm saying? And dealing with those forces, those character personality, those forces, those characters, those specters, people, those spirits of characters, personality that can walk into your body and shift it. So we have to be very, very careful of that. That's a whole totally different practice. It has its purpose and it has its function. But now, outside of that, in the public sector, they put it out there because you had the antisocial people that ran organizations and ran companies and corporations, started to put this product out, not bearing in mind of the consequences it would have. They didn't care. They themselves probably don't even, Reynolds themselves probably don't even smoke cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? These antisocial people are like, man, the hell, I'm gonna make this back. The hell with health and the hell with humanity. They don't deserve it. Let's bring down the population. Let's bring down the population by doing this and this and that. But yet, let's not invest in eco-friendly industry, eco-friendly corporations, or eco-friendly scientific findings. Let's not invest in that. So again, that's what's going on. And the Aninga Borinquen has to get hit on a lot of things, man. You know what I'm saying? And speaking about, the social political aspects of it and the agricultural, I was told by my family that some of the students in the university wanted to, especially agricultural students that were studying agriculture, becoming agricultural botany and botanists and stuff like that. They wanted to create a program, an initiative. They went to the government saying, we're creating a program, us students at the University of Agriculture, we want to go make an initiative to go out there to educate farmers out there and people, also to create farms and to start growing foods. Each community, each city, each community should be growing their own farms and should be feeding themselves within. So they wanted to bring this out, and well, they got shot down. They were denied the funding and they got shot down. Some of them still do it independently, but it's really kind of more difficult to do that. You know what I'm saying? But we have the opportunity, especially if you buy any property, make sure that it has enough land. You delegate some of that land to do farming, to grow things, you know what I'm saying? And put that back into the universe. Very, very important. That dynamic. Very, very important. You know what I'm saying? But if you go into a neighborhood or complex, you go to a neighborhood, no, look at this. I got a church right here with so much land and stuff all around me, but nobody's growing anything. They just have it so neat. It's for show. It's for show. But if there was to grow something in these lands and then form a market right next to it, people can go there and shop from some organic food, grown food that they can see it themselves that's growing. You see? So that's the ancient way. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, it's going to come to a time, but if we don't get back into this track and balance out the technology, like solar technology, right? And clean energy and clean water. If we don't balance that with that practice of agricultural or botany, or that culture or farming, we're going to destroy the planet. That's our future legacy. That's it for your genetics. That's it. Destroy the planet. You know what I'm saying? Good job. You know. Let me bring something else up in here. All right. Man. So, that's a conversation we were having today. You know what I'm saying? A great conversation on that. Um, very great conversation. You Um, so I'm just gonna continue on doing some of this news. You know what I'm saying? Continue on doing some of the news. Okay? It's on here. Hey, amen. Shout out to Mark Hassan, Hawa Khanum Reba. And Zay, you up in here. And for those in the future who's gonna watch this, man, and this is Monday News. Monday News. I call it Monday News. For the call, yeah, ginger and lemon. I have it. Matter of fact, I took a ginger shot today, but I gotta do some more. I haven't taken my concoction to clean all this crap out, man. I apologize for that. I need to get my voice a little more subdued. I need to get my voice a little more straight. Because I'm gonna speak about that particular energy center, which is communication in your voice. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely have to work on that. I have a little bit of mucus stuck in there, I guess. It happens. But yeah, ginger, lemon, yeah, I do the cayenne pepper. Yeah, I got a nice concoction. I'm gonna take in a little bit. But last time I took it, I guess it kind of like cleaned me out of it, but then I felt it, on certain parts of my body. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? So it's working. It's working because again, I'm aware of my plasmatic self, and the plasma in your body. If it's not healthy, it's not alkaline, it's not healthy, it can create some physical problems. Yeah, there's a whole science to that. And yeah, sometimes you can know so much but not practice it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get into practicing it because I'm getting older, and I know that I need to do that because I need work to be done. You know what I'm saying? Work to be done. But wanted to bring something up. Pardon me. Yeah, I do. I got it up. Okay, okay. Let me share it. No. Actually, really, I'm not. I should just read it. No, I can't read it because it's on my other. Let me share it. Maybe not even. So this is the conversation that we had today, and they were showing some graphs. Some of the stuff that was done in the past. And that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Some of that was shown in the past. Let me see. Yeah, if you excuse me 1 second. Let me see. Okay, I'm still on here. I'll read it to you. This is from Live Science, and Live Science is a an organization. I think it's some women at this organization, and so this is the top science news. You know, a third person has been cured of HIV. Scientists report. So they're curing HIV. I think they had this cure for a long time. Man. Look at Magic Johnson. I think this cure and look at Sabi. Sabi cured a lot of people from HIV back in the day. So I think the cure is there. Again, I don't know what they're doing. Maybe taking credit for something. So the woman became the third person ever to be cured of HIV, the virus that causes AIDS. After she received a stem cell transplant that used cells from an umbilical cord blood, scientists reported Tuesday. So you see, when they take the umbilical cord, when they take the umbilical cord and the placenta, what they use a lot of time, they use it for stem cell. You know what I'm saying? But they make money out of that. You know what I'm saying? But it's good. I mean, however, I'm from the old school. All my children around me, all of them, my grandchildren, everybody around me has had their placenta buried and properly buried with plants, with dates and stuff like that. Properly buried. You know what I'm saying? When I go into the hospital, I always ask for the placenta, and they don't deny me. Sometimes I have to sign something. I'll sign it. I said, but this is her property, and I'm her mate. I'm able to. These are my grandchildren. This property belongs to us, the family, and we have a family custom. Usually, you have nurses and doctors that do understand that because they understand the ritual, the natural. They understand the natural, family traditions. They understand, especially in the islands, especially in the South. But I practiced this in New York, and they gave me the placenta in New York. Only one time I had to sneak out there with the placenta, but most of the time, yeah, I got the placenta. You know what I'm saying? And buried it. You know what I'm saying? So the other two people cure of HIV with Timothy Brown and Adam Castellano, who received bone marrow transplant from donors who carry a genetic mutation that block HIV infection. So when they take your blood, man, they doing experimenting your blood to see what infections your blood, can block. And if they do, they use that and they use it for science or whatever, and they use that to make medicine, certain types of medicine. You know what I'm saying? So this is what Live Science previously reported. These these transplants contain adult hematopoietic stem cells, which are stem cells that develop into all types of blood cells, including white blood cells, a key component in the immune system. Your white blood cells are very important in your immune system. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So genetic mutation is rare and has been identified only in about 200,000 bone marrow donors to date. And this is what the New York Times reported. So the bone marrow transplant procedure itself takes a heavy toll on the body, both during the highly invasive procedure and for some time afterward. Man, they're expanding on these two individuals. They spend seeing, how long can it last and see how they can bring down that heavy toll on the body and stuff like that. Immune cells from the donor's bone marrow launch an attack against cells in the patient's body. This condition is known as graft versus host disease. Grafted disease versus host disease. Following this initial reaction, though, both men were cured of HIV. A lot of experiments going on. Lots of experiments. Another thing is there's a rare alien-like baby ghost shark discovered off of New Zealand coast. This alien-like baby ghost shark, a shark in the waters. Researchers have discovered an exceptionally rare, newly hatched ghost shark near New Zealand's South Island, according to the country's National Institute of Water and Atmospheric Research. Wow. Could it be that the aliens are practicing or learning about mutating? You know what I'm saying? Could this be that? Because definitely this is a mutation. This is something that's is rare, unexceptionally rare. You don't see this. You know what I'm saying? I should bring up the picture, right? You want to see what it looks like? Let me bring up what it looks like. Okay, I'm sorry. I am sharing the screen. Damn it. Okay. Okay. Here. Here. Let's bring it up. Oh, sorry. Okay. That's what it looks like. See that? A newly hatched ghost bird may belong to one of the 50 known species of these strange deep water creatures. And these are creatures that are really deep within. Can you imagine what they find? Off of the island of Borinquen is one of the deepest part of the Atlantic Ocean, a very deep part. And they're going down there and they're finding all these different anomalies. They're finding all these different strange species down there. And that part leads up into the Bermuda Triangle. And you're like, wow, they see a lot of alien People are always talking about these alien ships coming in and out of the waters in the Bermuda and the Bermuda Triangle, blah, blah, blah. And then you see all these strange creatures growing out of the deepest part of the ocean. This is in New Zealand, though, right? Yeah. Translucent, galateousness, and crowned it with a pair of giant black eyes on his pointed head. The alien-like baby likely belongs to one of the more than 50 known species of ghost sharks. The ghost shark, also known as chimeras, which live in the deep waters around the world. Deep waters around the world. Though not exactly sharks, chimeras are closely related to both sharks and ray, all of which are fish with skeleton made of cartilage instead of bone. Wow, according to the NIWA. As for the ghost part of the name, well, take a look at some footage, fully grown ghost sharks, and try imagine being the researcher who first saw these fish specters like bodies emerge from the deep sea gloom. Telling you, in the deep sea, one of the deepest parts of the island of Bonica, you can see a lot of them, man, a lot of these species, So this newly had, this is what a ghost fish look like, a ghost shark looks like, right? You know. You can tell this ghost shark recently had because of its fully belly and egg yolk, and so on, so on, so on. So this is crazy. In the sea, a lot of different man, a lot of different stuff's happening. You know? What else we have? The two stars covered in an unusual element have a puzzling origin story. So astronomers, they spotted a pair of bizarre stars. Remember, when they look up to the stars and they see things happening in the stars, they also got to look at what's happening on the ground, as above, so below. So unlike any ever seen, covered in a mysterious buildup of unusual chemicals, these cosmic eyeballs may have been born through a very rare type of merger between two stars in different ends of their respective life cycles. Wow. They named its researchers, they detected the two stars and they named it the PG1651 plus 332, PG1528. And they give it a name while scanning the sky using data collected by the Large Sky Area Multi-Object Fibrate Spectroscopic Telescope. La most of those telescopes in China and the Large Binocular Telescope Observatory in Arizona. Yeah. Antihistamines to treat long COVID. What you need to know. Over-the-counter antihistamines, typically taken for allergies, may have relieved the debilitating symptoms of the long COVID in some people. A new case report says. I hope I don't get marked for this because I'm reading this out of Science. I'm reading that this is news. This is Monday news. Okay. So the report published in February 7 in the Journal of Nurse Practitioners included two middle-aged women with long COVID, a condition known as a medical term as post-acute sequelae of the 19 stuff. After catching this 19 in 2020, the woman developed a slew of symptoms that linger for many months after the initial infection had cleared. These long-lasting symptoms included cognitive impairment. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Skin rashes and bruising, chest pain, and profound fatigue. These are this is what they say is long symptoms. But a lot of these symptoms can also, through dieting, and through, work. You got to do the work with your immune system, man. You got to do your work with the immune system. There's a mysterious Russian flu, actually, what they call a corona. Some scientists think so. That it's in 1889, a mysterious respiratory illness emerged in Russia and then spread upon the globe. So now they're saying that this, and it's true, you know what I'm saying? When you look in, people pull up the Lysol can and they seen that it's to fight, which is the common cold. So there was a flu in 1889 in Russia. triggering at least 3 waves of infection over the course of several years. Now, some scientists suspect that this illness that was dubbed the Russian flu actually may have been caused by pandemic coronavirus, similar to what they call the SARS-CoV-2 and the virus that caused the 19, the Time, New York Times reported. Wow. What are they saying? What are they saying? There are some easily drawn parallels between the two pandemics. For instance, during the Russian flu pandemic, schools and workplaces closed due to the sheer numbers of people infected. So they're looking at what happened. So this has been happening. It's been happening. And this is 1889. And then you see in 1920, the Spanish flu. These things have been happening. Schools are closed down. People had to wear the mask. Same thing happened every 100 years. And then this thing happened in Russia. And this thing took over the world. You know what I'm saying? So it's here. It's happened before. Again, we're being bombarded by these spurs, these viruses and these spurs. You know what I'm saying? It's mutating life as we know it on this earth. But now man is stepping in and trying to genetically engineer the mutation. That's when the difficulties comes in. And that's where we have to look at. Okay? What else? Oh, they had oh boy, a killer Cretaceous croc devoured a dinosaur at its last meal. Like 95 million years ago in what is known as Australia, a massive crocodile, because Australia, the crocodile country, related relative clamped down what is powerful jaw and small body of a dinosaur. Or could it have been a chicken? A chicken is a dinosaur. It's the last remnants of a dinosaur, chicken. So we're eating the last of the dinosaur. Chicken. Check that out. And gulped nearly all of it down in one mighty swallow. Wow. The crocodilian dies soon after and is fossilized. And as it fossilized, so did the partly digested, near complete dinosaur in his belly. So they're finding, this is life science. This is archaeologists and fossils, and they're finding this. The wee dinosaur was a young ornithopod, a mostly bipedal herbivore group that includes duck-billed dinosaurs. A duck-billed dinosaur, like a duck. These are the first bones of like ducks, of the ornithopod to be found in parts of the continent. And wow. Yeah. Hmm. The largest comet ever observed bumps Hale-Bopp from pedestal. What they call the Bernardinelli and the Bernstein comet, identified in 2021, is officially the biggest comet ever observed. And that's why they made that movie. Don't Look Up. Excuse me. Don't Look Up. That movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Don't Look Up, about, again, this comet, this huge comet, right, that they identified in 2021. It's the biggest comet. The new record reported on the Blueprint website of the ARXIV and now accepted by publication in the Journal of Astronomy and Astrophysics Letters. Bumps the Hale-Bopp comet from the top spot. The Hale-Bopp was discovered in 1995 and became visible to the naked eye in 1996. It was about 46 miles across. The Bernardinelli Bernstein, also known as the Comet 2014 UN 271, has now been calculated to be about 85 miles. That's almost twice big across. Twice as big. So the comet is currently winging its way towards the interior of the solar system. It will get closest to Earth in 2031. Uh-oh, here we go. The end of the world. 2031. The end of the world, y'all. Though not too close for comfort, the comet will remain just outside Saturn's orbit. It's definitely going to make an impact in terms of electromagnetic, because remember, the way the solar system sits and the planet sits, and this is what the Dogons taught. This is ancient science, Nile Valley science, that they taught that there's a they use the weave basket, right? They use the yeah the idea of knitting is, again, when they view these stars, they're interconnected. They got genetically connected strands, and they look like genetically connected. And they look at these planets are sitting on a what they call it a sheet of electromagnetic forces, or what they call gravitational waves and levitational waves. It's so like a wave. So the planets are moving within this sheet of quadrants, what they call quadrant squares, right? In the sheet. And so when it sits on it, and then you have gravitational waves, and then you have levitational waves, right? Because there is a, energy is connecting. There's a string, what they call the string theory. You know what I'm saying? In Dogon, and in ancient Kemet, and also in the Nile Valley, talk about the string theory, how everything is connected on certain, like a web, like a web, you know. So what else I'm reading? So they understand that. So we understand that if anything enters into this system, right, these waves, like, it's going to create in other words, if I have a sheet and you hold the sheet on one side, and we pull on the sheet, we now created a sheet of platform. I mean, now create a sheet. So if we throw a ball in there, is the sheet is going to what? Come down a little bit, right? It's going to impact the surface of that sheet. You know what I'm saying? So we got to look at that. So that's going to affect the curvature is going to affect the sheet, the way it's, the energy is flowing. You know what I'm saying? Create maybe more gravitational wave, or create more levitational wave, depending of how it's impacting that sheet. You know what I'm saying? Very, very interesting. Very interesting. That's science. And we're going to leave that for tomorrow. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I just wanted to mention a few of those things. Wow, you make your own CMOS? I used to make my own CMOS. I used to make my own. I say I got to get back. I got to buy some raw CMOS, and I make killer CMOS, bro. I sometimes make it with hibiscus, or sometimes bladderwrack. I put some bladder. I boil my bladderwrack, put my CMOS in there, make my gel. Sometimes I've done it with tamarind. And from the shell, cracked it, take the bead. I got a lot of beads here that I'm gonna start making holes in them and make me a bead of the seeds of the tamarind. Very tiny. You know what I'm saying? Make some like that. And make some jewelry of tamarindo seeds. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I crack that. I let that sit for a day. You know what I'm saying? And then I put it in the in the blender. I blend it, and then I strain it, and I got my tamarindo juice, and then I put that, boil that, and then I put my sea moss in there, and I boil that. You know what I'm saying? Let it sit and create that gel, tamarindo sea moss gel. Woo! I make that powerful, bro. And that hibiscus sea moss. I made different ones at different times. I made different ones. Ginger. I made different ones. Different ones. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's beautiful, bro. That you make your own CMOS. Man, you on it, brother. You on it? Love it. You on it. You on it. Yeah, petty SR. Alcohol is either or from when you get drunk, ether forces. Yes. You being your disagree with your answers and disembodied spirit. That is right, petty and petty Asar, Antum, peace and blessing, Rahubat. Yes, that is a fact. Yeah, that is a fact. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what they call spiritual digest. Also the cemetery. There's people that go to the. You have to be careful. People that go to the cemetery, and they call necromancing, and those dead gases that they do. Oh, excuse me. Hold on one second. And my grandson. Yeah, grandpa duty. I'm on grandpa duty. Yes, you have to take care of your health. We're not getting younger. We got to take care of our health. And we got to also, that's part of learning natural nature and learning how to eat natural nature. I learned sun food. You know what I'm saying? If you look into the sea moss, man, the sea moss with that salt, oh man, and the way it is, man, bro, you can break it down. We'll break it down one day. Maybe you can do that if you want. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Peace and blessings to everyone. I just wanted to get on here and make sure that I'm doing my podcast every day, a couple of them every day. Maybe I'll come on later on and do something I don't know. Um, if there's good movies, man, I'm gonna stay watching movies. Anyway, peace and blessings to you all, and those who are gonna watch this later. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I will be out. Okay, and let me just do my outro. And for those who wants to give a free will offering, okay, that is my Cash App right there in the bottom. I can even put my Cash App right here. So free will offering, that's the Cash App, right? And this is my PayPal in the bottom. That's the Cash App, PayPal. If you want to, no problem. I usually leave it for Sunday, ofrenda day, you know what I'm saying? But, some people don't, it's all right. It's no problem. I'm still going to continue on sharing, you know what I'm saying? Because it's about humanity. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? It's just opening that heart chakra of giving and receiving, you know what I'm saying? And keeping that flow going. You know what I'm saying? Because again, as I receive, I also give. You know what I'm saying? And keep that flow going. As to create that habitual self, create that habit of doing that. So when you get into a community, it flows around your community and you create a wealth, a healthy economic environment. You want to create a healthy economic environment with people around you, right? That's the reason why we have crime. That's the reason why we got this drugs. Because if you offer ways economically for a community to grow and people to grow, and community to grow and says, oh, we don't need to do this. We can do it this way and live for the future and live a life that we could be proud that our children are going to thrive in and are going to be protected. We're going to be protected. Our legacy is going to be protected. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's raising the values, the qualities, and the principles of each other. We have to raise that, so that way when these initiatives come by and we're able to get involved in these initiatives, we're able to gather those around us that think like us and that want to get down, right? And create that economic wealth. So we can address the poverty in the neighborhood. We can address hunger. We can address crime. We can address certain anti-sociable, suppressive personalities. We can address that and to make sure that, hey, listen, I'm good. I've done my shadow work. I'm good. My family is good. My tribe is good. My block is good. My city is good. My tribe is good. My nation is good. My country is good. My planet is good. My humanity is good. My solar system is good. All these dynamics, you're gonna see the good. You're gonna vibe on that good. But remember, there's always gonna be that element of evil in there. But you limit that amount. You isolate it and you limit that amount so it cannot thrive and grow. You limit it. You trap it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna put out that one time why the 8-pointed star was so important to our science. Different stars represent different principles. You know what I'm saying? Real quickly, I'll drop. The 5-pointed stars are the 5 P's, or the 5 principles. What is the P now? The P now? Politics, polytheism, psychology. I just say politics, polytheism, psychology, the penal system, and there's another one there. Philosophy, right? Then they added another one for the 6-pointed star in terms of that school of thought, which became pharmaceutical. Because you notice the pharmaceutical, the majority of pharmaceutical, that all comes from 6-pointed star, which come from Israel. Very high in it. When you look at these companies that are very high in the pharmaceutical, are tied in with Zionists and tied in with Judaism. You know what I'm saying? Or represented by the 6-pointed star, the blue 6-pointed star. You know what I'm saying? And then also in terms of religion, Islam, If you carry the six pointed with the crescent, now you're thinking in terms of religion. You got the six major prophets, and then you got the seal of the prophet, which is Muhammad, and then that gives you the six pointed star with the crescent. But then again, you see in certain Arab states, you see the crescent representing Islam, but you see the five pointed star because they don't want nothing to do with the Israel. You know what I'm saying? So they think underneath it all is that pharmaceutical because they are the producers of the poppy plant, the opiate, the producers in the Arab world. And then you have, you know what I'm saying? So so those are the different thing about stars, you know what I'm saying? In terms of their representing here on earth, you know what I'm saying? Now, when you turn to star, Wusabat, that's different. That is different. That star's energy, that star represents a lot more, which we're going to speak about it at another time. Those other five principles, six-pointed star, the seven-pointed star, all these different stars in our science has a different definitions, different schools in it. Anyway, peace and blessings. I said I was going to peace and blessings, y'all, man. I do my outro. Oh, wait a minute. Let me just read this real quick. Bond Dog, what's going on? Peace and blessings to you. Have a beautiful day. Bond Dog, yes, thank you. Floyd, man, you know, peace to you. I appreciate you very much. And so let's do the outro, and I will see you guys again. I don't know. I don't think tonight. Maybe I might get on some other platforms tonight. I don't know. I think about watching a movie. It's Monday. I might watch a movie. It's Moon Day. I really don't want to get too busy on the Moon Day. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I'm not really like that. But there we go.